The following is a transcript of a conversation between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am. 27th October 2020, Fasting and Food. Me. So atoms are the basic unit of matter that is able to save energy. As you said, particles have an energetic exchange that would be lost if it does not come together to share this charge with others, thus creating a structure that gives rise to the formation of atoms, which in their constant need to find stability and savings, join together forming molecules. Molecules, in turn, form chemical elements, and these are the minerals and organisms we know in organic and inorganic matter, life. And life goes on with this cycle of saving, trying to assimilate as much energy as possible to ensure long-term stability. In other words, life exists thanks to the search for atomic stability. Isn't it ironic that the diversity of life is thanks to evolution, which involves changing and losing energy in the process of transformation and adaptation to diverse environments, when life itself does not seek to transform itself, but to stabilize and remain as long as possible in the same way? I am. It's one of those paradoxes of the universe. Yes, the key to life is permanence, and to remain, you have to change. The paradox is that life seeks, by all means, to last as long as possible to survive. That is, live above the possibilities. But in a changing environment where atoms lose energy and are modified, creating new chemical elements, generating earthquakes, climate changes, radiation, and so many other things, if life does not adapt, if it is not transformed into tune to that new environment, it will perish. Therefore, if you want to remain, you must change. The permanence factor is related to time, and the change factor is related to space. A living being goes through both factors. To survive in time, a living being needs to modify its space. This is feeding. Me. Eating is the key to cellular life. Bring all the nutrients, minerals, chemical elements that the cells need to continue functioning. I am. Unlike inorganic elements, organic compounds are flexible and mutable. We could say that they are weak. Its chemical compositions are flimsy, subtle, volatile, unlike silicon, iron, and so many others. The interaction of chemical elements generates adaptability. Thus, organic beings need to constantly regenerate these elements, because in their constant modification, they usually lose a large amount of them through segregation, sweat, excretion, activity. Therefore, to find stability in cells, that they can maintain their function of division and expansion, living beings need to obtain these elements in external organisms. There, to ensure permanence in time, they must segregate objects outside by hunting, planting, harvesting, gathering, cooking, eating, drinking, and all the kingdoms in one way or another do this. Plants harvest nutrients from the earth by breaking through the earth's strata, converting carbon dioxide and light into starch and oxygen into energy reserves. Animals eating, preying, hunting, grazing do the same, and of course humans. Producing or obtaining food is key to energetic stability in an organic body that is constantly transforming. Me. This creates a circle of dependence, right? I am. Yes, energy is emotion, and therefore everything that gives us energy will be related to an emotion. This is how the human projects emotion onto food. Food comes from the Latin alere, which means to make grow. That is to say that the word does not refer directly to what is eaten, but to what is achieved with what is eaten. In the same way, the English word meal comes from the Frisian word meal, which means moment, occasion, which moved to the most important moment in the life of a family in which everyone unites, lunchtime. The temporal concept of a particular moment in time thus became the name for all meals. Here again, the concept of an action through time is what gives meaning to what you consume. The need to stay alive generates a vicious link in the need to consume. Com and sumere from the Latin with and add, that is, to take everything. Me. Mentally, emotionally, and materially. I am. We have said that the pancreas, generator of insulin, seeks to accumulate glucose to nourish the cells through the blood, and the remains are stored in the form of fats, accumulating them just in case. Food, thus, is what makes you grow. It is what you look for in the external world to stabilize your body, develop it, take potentials from the environment. What keeps you in touch with the outside world through emotion, bonds, family, sitting down to eat at the table, the memory of each favorite dish, its purchase, harvest, hunting. All food contains an emotional energy weight for the soul and a caloric energy weight for the body. This energy becomes part of your pattern, your structure, your being, becomes part of your cellular stability, your fundamental elements. Me, I am what I eat. I am. And you've never seen it so clearly. Everything you consume gives you an energy charge that stabilizes your being, in the same way that an electron delivers its energy charge to a proton so that it finds its stability, its center. Everything you eat will be part of you. It will become your own being. Me. That's why I have to be careful what I eat. I am. Of course, it will depend on what level of consciousness you do it from. If you are still in survival, your body will look for everything that feeds that cellular need, looking for the most ancestral records of survival in hunting and gathering. In the early periods of humanity, the natural cycles of planting and harvesting were not known, and this was because human groups were solitary, small, and always had to walk from one place to the other, nomads, escaping enemies and predators. There was no time to settle. There was no security to do so. For a family to survive, it needed to eat whatever it found, gathering fruit or hunting. When hunting an animal, there were many things assured to save energy. Bones served as tools, shelter skins for the winter. Meat could feed many for several days, something that the few fruits obtained could not achieve, much less in long winters or dry seasons. Thus, the basis of survival was based on the carnivorous and omnivorous, eating meat or eating whatever there is. Me. That would be from the search for records of the subconscious. And from the unconscious? Culture. Once society exists, the village was set up, there is agriculture, which was learned to store. Exchange was generated and a certain stability. Food ceases to be to survive and becomes emotional and cultural, sharing. Eating with others brings us closer to others. Sitting down to eat unites family and friends. Banquets flatter courts and kingdoms. And not sharing food is almost a sign of contempt and betrayal. Not to share is to deny. It is to become an enemy. Eating from the same plate implies trust in the other, a way of showing brotherhood and peace between peoples. Thus, eating becomes a way to find a sense of belonging, security, acceptance, being part of something or a group. Me. I have seen many people on the spiritual path who become vegetarian or vegan, not because they feel it in their soul or body, but because they need to be accepted as part of the group, and eating meat would make them feel rejected as a betrayal of the principles of the clan or tribe. I am. It is a human cultural issue which takes time to clean because it is natural and millenary. However, it is not necessary to do so. Me. How? I am. Why do you want to clean up and become a vegetarian? Me. Well, there can be many reasons. I mean, it's important to be aware of what you do to the environment and what you do to yourself by eating things that hurt you. I am. Yes, but that's a belief. You cannot train others to change the way they eat because you impede their growth. The great mistake of humanity is excess, not what is eaten. Eating an apple from a tree or planting 1,000 trees to harvest millions of apples and then eating one. That is the absurdity of humanity. Treating animals as products and raising millions of cows to eat one and throw away what is left over because it was too much, that is the absurdity of humanity. Me. What you say is that everyone could eat whatever they wanted if the cycles, the quantities, and the real need were respected. I am. Well, everyone needs something different to consume because each individual is different, and food is mainly emotional energy. You already know what it means to ban in humanity. Me. Yes. Start the black market. Make the law the trap. I am. You ban what you don't like, and they still didn't understand that it doesn't work like that. The key is education, awareness. Me. And there we have the third level. I am. Eating consciously does not imply looking outside and wanting to change the world, but observing what it is that I eat, what it is that I become, what hurts me, and I do not leave out of necessity. Consciousness allows us to see that we become what we consume, and if I want to be different, I must consume different things. Food is the key to all energy of my organic being. Therefore, to truly transform my beliefs with its thoughts and my emotions with its bonds, I must transform my body with its eating. When I educate myself, the real cleansing of my being begins, and in the example, I will be able to educate others. Me. And how do I start that cleaning? I am. It's called fasting. This Latin word arises from AYUNO, which is another concept of emptiness, that there is nothing. Thus, breakfast, breakfast, implies letting go of the void and filling that space. In English, fast comes from the Indo-European hard, fixed, firm. Therefore, breakfast refers to breaking with rigidity. In both languages, we can interpret that we are talking about something that is static, still, where nothing happens, and that nothing is broken. It is modified when something new comes to change it. In terms of food, fasting is the organic equivalent of meditation for the mind. Reaching that emptiness, not from scarcity, but from the will to discover the inner potential, awakens a new mechanism in the body which seeks new ways to supply that energy. You get it from fat reserves, you get it from respiration, from sunlight, from water information. But as with the mind, it is useless to meditate without ever having done active meditations before. For the mind, finding the moment of full emptiness implies an adaptation to stop thinking, and this is achieved with active meditation, such as drawing patterns without expectations of creating a work of art, or walking without a destination, or dancing to music without lyrics, or performing mechanical and repetitive actions. This prepares the body for what it means to leave the mind blank. In the same way, fasting needs an exercise of consuming less and less food, little by little, with time, leaving the most important until the last, to the point where you begin to repeat a routine of always eating the same, until one day you just need water. Thus you start by leaving breakfast first, later lunch, and later in time dinner, early, not late. But like meditation, fasting is not for life, but for moments of physical meditation. Thus the cells rest in their constant mitosis. Think of your body as like a country that never sleeps, with trillions of workers who never stop, always generating and consuming non-stop. Fasting is like a huge vacation for all the inhabitants of your physique, but nevertheless, one day they must return to their chores. Me, I understand, it's intermittent, for the body to relax. Maybe a few days a month would be fine. I am. Everyone will know how much, what, and how they need it. The important thing is that you do it sometime, because it is the moment when the mind of the body can stop working to think, feel, look at the sky, contemplate life, relax. Food detoxification is the detoxification of information. It is finding silence and inner peace, dormant abilities to produce one's own energy. But above all, one without denying the other. They are understood as inevitable parts of life. For a body that consumes without stopping replicates its cells so many times that they will be depleted faster and will die soon. On the other hand, a being that gives vacations to its cells, that lets them rest, is more likely to live longer. You need to eat to innovate, you need nourishment to grow, but you need fasting to understand. You need emptiness to feel and be. Me. Life, then, finds stability in saving the energy it gets from what it eats, but it must expand that energy to discover what it can do with it. Food and fasting. I am. You are what you eat.